Good morning. Here's your U.S. news briefing for Friday, July 24th. France orders evacuation of tourist spot as hundreds flee wildfires by boat. The fire has raged in the region for several days, with officials now ordering the evacuation of the entire Cap Ferret Peninsula. $200,000 worth of supplies donated to PB schools. UK mortgage rates rise to highest level for a month. Renewed tensions in the Middle East feed through to the costs faced by lenders, pushing up borrowing costs. Microsoft pressures LG into killing unwanted McAfee ads. Microsoft has intervened to stop Windows 11 users with LG monitors from being bombarded with annoying McAfee trial pop-ups. Let's preview all 32 NFL training camps, Key Quest. Here are the biggest storylines as teams open camp, plus 53-man roster predictions. Luxbox acquires documentary life of Jorge Luis Borges ahead of Venice premiere, exclusive. Luxbox Films has acquired the world sales rights to Mariano Linus and #8217, epic 5.5-hour documentary life of Jorge Luis Borges, which will world premiere at the Venice Film Festival in the open and #8211, non-fiction section. Attachment Tokyo Spring 2027. U.S. and Iran trade more strikes in Gulf as fears of escalation mount. It comes as Iran condemned the U.S. plan to use frozen Iranian assets to pay for war damages. Family throws surprise birthday party at Eagles tailgate for Vietnam vet. UK complacent about war threat, warns BAE boss. The threat of attack has never been higher, the boss of Europe's biggest defense contractor has warned. How AI guardrails are impeding the work of offensive cybersecurity researchers. We spoke with several cybersecurity researchers who look for unknown vulnerabilities and develop tools to exploit them, about how OpenAI's and Anthropic's guardrails affect their work. W.R. Hill, no power in leg 10 months post-surgery. Tyreek Hill posted a workout video in which he discussed his ongoing recovery from a dislocated knee and multiple ligament tears, saying he still has no power in his left leg. Jon Bon Jovi ends Madison Square Garden show early due to sinus infection. We'll figure out how to reschedule. Bon Jovi and #8217's penultimate show of their Madison Square Garden residency came to an early end on Thursday night after frontman Jon Bon Jovi revealed he was suffering from a sinus infection. Is Asia-Pacific beauty finally turning a corner? Mainland China aside, Asia-Pacic's travel retail beauty outlook is looking rosier than the headlines suggest. Netflix viewers the world over are binge-watching South African series The Polygamist. Here's why. Why is a Zulu language drama taking the world by storm? The Polygamist mixes sex and scandal with a sharp portrait of modern South Africa. What animal is the deformed but adorable Jimothy? The quiz knows, do you? Also, Ryan Gosling's regrets, Zoran Namdani's exhortations and the Smithsonian's alleged wokeness. We split bills equally even when one of us earned a lot more. Hannah and Max continued to pool finances after Max was made redundant but took drastic measures to cut spending. Meet the judges who will crown Australia's next breakout startup. TechCrunch startup Battlefield is coming to Australia, and we're partnering with Stripe to find the country's most exciting early-stage startups. Raiders Inc. number 1 pick Mendoza to rookie contract. The Raiders have signed number 1 pick Fernando Mendoza to his 4-year, $57.27 million fully guaranteed contract with a 5th-year option. Jumbo sequel, Queen of Malacca franchise plans on the cards as Indonesia's Visinema eyes expansion, exclusive. Indonesian filmmaker and Visinema founder Angga Dwyma Sasongko is targeting the first quarter of 2027 for the release of Queen of Malacca, as the Southeast Asian fantasy epic moves through post-production and attracts interest from potential distribution partners in China, Thailand, and other international markets. The Vogue Business Beauty Trend Tracker. Vogue Business brings you weekly exclusive data from Spate tracking historic growth across brands, trends, and ingredients. Stay tuned as we spotlight a different beauty category each week. U.S. hits dozens of countries with new wave of tariffs. Imposed citing forced labor concerns, the levies replace a temporary global duty brought in after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down tariffs in February. West Virginia paid digital nomads to move there during COVID. Many are staying. Ascend West Virginia is one of dozens of relocation initiatives across the country offering cash and other incentives to move to states needing an economic boost. Here's how they're working out. Lawmakers push for AI kill switch after OpenAI models go rogue. A new bill would let the U.S. government order the shutdown of AI models that pose a public threat. Mobileye CEO Amnon Shaswat to step aside as company pushes into robot axis, robotics. Shaswat has been invited to take the chairman of the board seat. Card Sweat, knee, surprise addition to PUP list. Cardinals edge rusher Josh Sweat, who missed the team's offseason activities due to non-injury related issues, was placed on the physically unable to perform list Thursday because of a knee injury. Chris Affleck, mother of Oscar winners Ben and Casey Affleck, dies at 83. A schoolteacher, she was recently diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and died June 2, her family announced. Pisces Daily Horoscope. February 19th to March 20th. Tech titan ordered to pay ex-wife $644 million in divorce settlement. The divorce, involving the chairman of one of South Korea's biggest companies, has gripped the nation. Military families share the challenges of deployment. With news of more U.S. casualties in the war with Iran, military families face the challenges of lengthy deployments. Southwest Airlines put Texas jet fuel on a boat to LA for the first time amid supply worries. Southwest hired a ship this spring to send fuel from Houston to Los Angeles in case of supply shortages. Alexa Plus is getting an AI update to handle more complicated instructions. Amazon is launching an update to its Alexa Plus assistant that will allow it to connect to smart home devices in new ways. Source: Neighbors unlikely to start camp on PUP. Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors is not expected to begin training camp on the physically unable to perform list, a source told ESPN. Charli XCX brings in the post-Brat era with music, fashion, film. The pop star released her much-anticipated 7th album on Friday after officially announcing the album in June. Kristen Stewart punks up her pixie cut for summer. Set to front stoner comedy The Wrong Girls, Kristen Stewart headed out for dinner with co-star Alia Shawkat, and debuted a spiky crop of hair. India's cockroach protesters and government to hold talks as stalemate continues. The meeting comes hours after activist Sonam Wangchuk announced he was ending his 26-day hunger strike. New York Times lawyer talks about DOJ withdrawing subpoenas sent to Times reporters. NPR's Michelle Martin speaks to the New York Times lead newsroom lawyer David McCraw about the Justice Department withdrawing subpoenas it had sent to the Times reporters. Google and Tesla shares plunge as AI spending rattles markets. As major tech companies race to capitalize on a new wave of AI technology, investors wonder when financial benefits will appear. Microsoft responds to LG monitors installing McAfee ads on Windows. App is installed through Windows Update when certain LG monitors connect to a PC. Panthers Tepper adds $500 million to stadium upgrade. Carolina Panthers owner David Tepper is investing an additional $500 million into ongoing stadium renovations as the team announced a naming rights extension with Bank of America. Director Na Hong-jin makes Comic-Con debut with frightening New Hope footage, says casting Hoi-yeon was his best decision. South Korean director Na Hong-jin made his San Diego Comic-Con debut to preview his latest film, Neon and #8217, alien action movie Hope, and #8221, before the action auteur took the stage in Ballroom 20, a sizzle reel of his previous work, from his 2008 debut The Chaser and #160, to The Yellow Sea and The Wailing, and #8221, all set to Aussie, and #8230. The Scoop with Reigns' Philip Lotko, on becoming Reigns' creative director, a soccer sponsorship and a new sales format. This week's guest is Reigns co-founder Philip Lotko. Founded in 2012 as a niche outerwear company, Reigns has grown rapidly in its almost 15 years of existence. Indian activist Wangchuk ends 26-day hunger strike as cockroach protesters vow to press on. Indian activist Sonam Wangchuk ended a 26-day hunger strike on Friday that helped galvanize a youth movement that's become one of India's largest protests in recent years, but demonstrators vowed to continue until the education minister resigns. NEH announces grants supporting projects aligned with Trump's agenda. The latest wave of grants announced by the National Endowment for the Humanities, worth more than $40 million, illustrates a Trump administration focus on such topics as the United States founding. That's your briefing for today. Have a great day.